Okay guys, why is it that whenever an independent film comes out into the theaters, why is it always so hard for these independent films to come to a theater near my location? Why is that, guys? I don't know. Anyway, hey there guys, what's up? It's Autobot Mike 18 here with another movie review. Guys, in this video, I'm going to be reviewing a movie that I should have reviewed 2 weeks ago when the movie came out in a limited release. And I actually feared not being able to see this one, guys, and I was really looking forward to checking out this film. This is Richard Linklater's newest drama film, Boyhood, and that is what I'm going to be reviewing in this video, guys. Now, as I said in my intro, I was definitely fearful that I would not get a chance to see this movie because it was given a limited release 2 weeks ago. Then it got a bigger, wide release, but it still wasn't big enough. Luckily, it came to one of my theaters, an independent theater I just discovered. It was 30 minutes from my house. I luckily got a chance to see this movie. I saw it 2 days ago, Thursday night, and I'm just reviewing it now. I was really busy this weekend with San Diego Comic-Con stuff, and I was working on a short film, and now, nevertheless, I am back on getting ready, back with my YouTube life, and here I am with my review of Boyhood. Before I get into the review, though, I do have to give a quick shout out to someone who followed me on Twitter and asked me to give them a shout out. So, therefore, I want to thank this guy for following me on Twitter, and if you ask, you shall receive. So, Luke White on Twitter, thank you so much, man. You asked for a shout out, here it is. Follow him on Twitter. I'll leave you a link to his Twitter account down below. On Twitter, his name is Luke White at LukeWhite09794044. Thank you so much, Luke. I really appreciate the support, and that's all I have to say about that. Anyway, guys, getting back to my review of Boyhood. Now, there is an incredible story behind the making of this movie, and it involves the fact that Boyhood is a 12-year film. And what I mean by that is, it took 12 years to make this movie. 12 years, guys, okay? I just worked on a short film for the last 5 days, okay? 12 years. That's dedication right there. That's all I'm going to say about that. The director of this movie is Richard Linklater. You may know him from the Before trilogy, Before Midnight, Before Sunset, Before Sunrise, that trilogy of movies. He's directed a few other films. He got together a cast, wrote a screenplay, and they literally met with each other once every single year to shoot the scenes for this movie. They met for like 2 or 3 weeks of a year, and then they met the next year and the next year and the next year, because this is a film about growing up, so you need the main character in this movie, the young boy in this movie, to grow up over a period of time. They wanted to shoot it over this long period of time to make it more authentic. Anyway, guys, getting into my review of Boyhood. So that right there is a miracle in how they someone finally decided to do something like this. This has never been done before in the history of cinema. Never. That's incredible. Alright, guys, so getting into the plot behind Boyhood, it's a very simple premise once you think about it. The movie is set over a period of 12 years, and it chronicles the life and events of this young boy named Mason, played by newcomer Ellar Coltrane. The movie first starts off when he is 6 years old, and it goes all the way to the end when he is 18 years old and just graduating high school. Now, in the movie, young Mason has a single mother who is trying to raise him and his sister by herself. This mother is played by Patricia Arquette, and his sister in the movie, who is older than him by 2 years, she is played by Richard Linklater's own daughter, Lorelei Linklater. And they also have a father who is divorced from the mother, and he is played by Hawke in the movie. Now, this young boy Mason goes through many different things as the film progresses. You know, things you'd expect a young boy to experience as they begin to grow up. Things including moving from house to house, moving from location to location, having your parents get divorced from each other, you know, bullying and friends and peer pressure and first love, all the kinds of things you'd expect to, you'd expect to see a young boy by that age go through as they grow up. And the film is shot for 12 consecutive years. And it shows this boy, so that this boy, Ellar Coltrane, literally grows up before our eyes as the movie progresses. They didn't cast an older guy to play the older Mason. They have the same actors for the whole entire movie, and it makes this movie feel so much more authentic. And that is why I praised Richard Linklater for sticking with this project for this long, being dedicated to this project, because that is how you make a good movie about growing up, about experiencing life from a young age to an older age. And that's what I loved about Boyhood. Now, guys, like I said, I was really anticipating this film. It was definitely high up on my most anticipated list. As soon as I watched the trailer, I said, I can't wait for this movie. It was made over a period of 12 years. That's so freaking awesome. This has never been done before. And I was really, really anticipating this one. And like I said, I was so lucky enough for this to come to a theater nearby me. And what can I say, guys? The critic reviews have been so positive for this movie, calling it one of the best films of the decade. And after having seen Boyhood, guys, I'm going to have to agree and say this is without a doubt by far one of the best films of 2014 thus far, and also one of the best independent films I've seen in a very long time. One of the best I've probably ever seen, without a doubt. Alright guys, if any of you ever asked me, before I had seen this movie, what is one film out there that you can pick that you can easily relate to? What's a movie, you see that basically defines your life? What is a very relatable movie to you? I would have a very hard time answering that question. Very hard time. After having seen Boyhood, you know what my answer would be to that question, guys? This movie. Boyhood is not only one of the best films of the year, one of the best indies I've ever seen, it's one of the most relatable films I have ever seen in regards to how well it relates to my own life and my own life experiences. I'm going to go out on a limb here, guys, and say that roughly 65% of this movie is my life. I would say the only things I didn't go through as a young boy up to, 18 years old, that the main character in this movie went through, I would say I never went through moving from house to house, and my parents never divorced. And there were a few other things that happened when he was a teenager in the movie that I never went through when I was a teenager. Other than that, yeah, this movie is basically my life. It should be called My Life, the movie. All about Mike 18's life, the movie. That's what Boyhood is, okay? It's just... And I never lived in Texas, so there's that. But it's just such an accurate depiction of what a young boy would experience in life. I don't think there was one moment, maybe one or two moments where the movie gets a little too dramatic, but that is life. Life is full of drama, and life is full of the things that happened in this movie, okay? Then that's why I connected so well with this movie. I'd say anyone from the age of 13 to 20 will connect so well with this movie because of the things they migrated, that they mitigated into the film. Richard Linklater throws a lot of life events that happened during this time period into the movie. He throws, some technology, some things that I've had as a kid, a TV show or something like that. It's little things like that just make me say, this is why I love this movie, okay? I would say anyone over 25 really wouldn't connect as well with this movie as I did. And here's the funny thing. The main kid in this movie, yeah, he's a year older than I am. Okay? That is one reason why I connected so well with this movie, and I love this movie so much, and will always hold a special place in my heart. I mean, for example, the main young boy in this movie, he reads Harry Potter books. He plays the Wii. He plays the Game Boy Advance as he's growing up. He's doing all these things as he's growing up. He looks in a magazine of women modeling lingerie, sexy lingerie. Okay, I've done all these things. He experiences getting his first job, bullying, his first love. I mean, I've gone through most of that stuff, okay? And that is why I find Boyhood such a relatable and interchangeable film with my life, without a doubt. I mean, the way they ended the movie, I'm not going to really spoil it, but that is the movie, for me, most of this movie shows things I've already done in life. The ending of this movie, I've yet to do, which is why I find this film so relatable. And if you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about, but I don't want to spoil it to anyone who hasn't seen it. Anyway, guys, moving on, getting into the cast really briefly. First off, I gotta praise the cast for being as dedicated to this project as they were. Freaking 12 years, man! That's 12 years of their life. Now, granted, I know they only had to come in once every 12 years, but that's still, you gotta... I gotta give you a thumbs up for that. I mean, every single one of these cast members, Ellar Coltrane, Patricia Arquette, Ethan Hawke, Lorelei Linklater, they not only gave great performances, but that is dedication right there. First of all, let's talk about Ellar Coltrane. He's never been in any movie. They cast him out of the blue, 2002, obviously after doing an audition, and they cast him for this 12-year picture, and he's incredible. He absolutely shines as the young 6-year-old boy in the beginning of the film. Kind of gets more quiet and reserved towards the end of the movie, but I would say the first half is more about him dealing with certain challenges and, you know, trying to grow up, basically. And the second half is much more about him trying to find out what he wants to do with his life. Ellar Coltrane was excellent in the movie, and he was great. He really was. For a newcomer, man, I got to give this kid props. There's one long take that really impressed me. He did a great job. I loved watching this kid grow up. I loved it. I loved nearly every second of it, okay? Ethan Hawke is without a doubt the comic relief in this movie. And if any of you ever question the fact that they shot this movie over 12 years, if any of you ever say, oh no, this is fake, they didn't shoot it over 12 years, you can easily tell that they did. If you watch the beginning, you'll see Ethan Hawke and how young he is. I mean, the Ethan Hawke from the beginning of the movie looks exactly like the Ethan Hawke from Training Day, which Training Day came out roughly 2 years before they started shooting this movie, okay? So you can tell as the film progresses that all of these actors are the same actors playing the same characters over this 12-year drama, okay? Ethan Hawke was great in the movie, provided a lot of comic relief. They gave him so many funny lines. He was excellent. Patricia Arquette plays a very damaged mother, care provider for her 2 children, and she was excellent in several key scenes in the movie. And Lorelei Linklater, Richard Linklater's daughter, even though she plays the annoying older sister, as all older sisters are, definitely, she was definitely good in the movie. Now, guys, it's time to get into my rating for Boyhood, and you know what? I'm gonna be honest with you. I was really hyping this movie up. I was telling myself, this is gonna be one of those movies where it's just gonna be perfect. It's just gonna be a perfect movie for me. I came out of the movie and said, okay, it was excellent, but was it a perfect movie? No. There's roughly 2 flaws I had with this movie, but you know what, guys? I can't help it. I can't sit here and give this movie a 9.5 out of 10. They worked on this movie for 12 years. That is a solid reason enough to go all the way, and that's what I'm going to do for my score for Boyhood. That's right, guys. I'm going all the way for Boyhood. I'm giving this film a solid, perfect 10 out of 10 or an A+. My first 10 out of 10 for 2014. That's awesome. Goes to Boyhood without a doubt. This is a near perfect film. Okay, I'll give you my only 2 problems I have with the movie. Only 2. One, I think we needed to see a few more scenes of Mason's youth. I would have liked a scene or 2 more of him as a young boy. I think they showed more of his teenage years than they did of his childhood years. I would have loved to see another childhood scene or 2. Other than that, there was a slow scene or 2. Other than that, this is a near perfect movie that I absolutely recommend for all of you. And one reason why I love this movie as much as I did, it is definitely because of the nostalgia. The fact that this movie reminds me so much of me when I was young. That the characters in this movie do things that I did when I was a young boy. Or when I was a young teenager. That is why I connected so well with this movie. It will always have a perfect place in my heart. And it came out at just the right time. Right before I'm ready to take a huge step in my life. And I'm not going to spoil what that step is. But it's at the end of this movie. You'll get what I mean. Okay, if you've seen the movie. Getting into the things I loved about Boyhood, guys. The cast is incredible. They are extraordinary. They are dedicated. They are so natural and realistic. Not one of them gives a performance that feels fake or over-the-top dramatic. Each performance feels 100% accurate and completely realistic. And that is why I love the performances in this movie. The screenplay by Richard Linklater, he not only directed the movie, but he also wrote it. I'm calling it right now, this is so far the best original screenplay of 2014. If this film gets shut out at the Oscars, which I know it will, it came out in July, bad time for a movie that wants to get Oscar love to come out. July is not a good time. If the movie is to get any awards love, it better be for the screenplay, okay? And of course, Best Picture. But the original screenplay is just extraordinary. Not only is the film relatable and so beautifully written, it is funny, it's sweet, it's touching, it's heartbreaking, it's depressing, it's even disturbing. And the funny parallel I find with that is that the movie is all of those things. The script is all of those things. And that's also what life is. Life is full of that. And to have a movie, to have a script about life be all of those things, that's a pretty damn good screenplay if you ask me. I love the writing in this movie. There are funny lines in this movie. There's depressing moments in this movie. There's a disturbing scene or two in this movie. And that is what life is about. Going through your youth, you're going to experience things like that. The themes in this movie are rich and so prevalent. The themes of innocence, of growing up, of childhood, of all those things. There is a shot in this movie. It is one of the best shots I've seen in a long time, portraying that wonderful theme of childhood innocence. The shot of Mason backing up against the door, watching two adults talk with each other. And it's just, the look on his face is just perfect, okay? Those themes are so present in this movie. And for a movie about life, it never runs out of energy, or it never, really gets so tiresome, except for those one or two scenes that I mentioned briefly. It is always so full of life, and it just shows you that life isn't perfect. You're going to run into problems down the road, especially when you're a child, especially when you're a young adult. You're going to run through problems, all that, but the movie shows you have to make the best of it. The ending is extraordinary. I loved the final shot, the final few lines in this movie. They just hit me right here. There's a heartbreaking dialogue scene towards the end between Patricia Arquette and Ellar Coltrane that hit me right here as well. The whole movie hits you right here, and that's what I love about this movie. Richard Linklater as a director does a perfect job directing the movie. The direction feels natural. The acting feels natural. The cinematography is absolutely incredible. Good job, my friend Richard Linklater. You did an excellent job directing this beast of a movie. The editing is very well for a 3-hour movie, near a 3-hour movie. Doesn't drag that much at all. And finally, the soundtrack. There are 2 songs. There's like 2 or 3 songs that are played in this movie I haven't heard in years. They definitely brought up those feelings of nostalgia as I listened to them. I mean, they really just like, I did nothing but watch this movie with like a smile on my face. I was like, oh, I did that. I did that in my life. Oh, that's so awesome. I just got so excited watching this movie. And that is how you're supposed to feel watching a movie. You're supposed to feel these different emotions that I felt while watching Boyhood. It's one of the best emotional payoffs of the whole entire year so far. Boyhood, 10 out of 10, A+. Please go see this movie. And I know I personally feel there's a problem or two with this movie, but I bet you if I see this movie again, I'll definitely mean my 10 out of 10. But I'm sticking with the 10 out of 10 because it deserves it. It's a 12-year picture in the making, and it absolutely deserves all the praise it gets. I want to see this movie around Oscar night a few months from now. Anyway, guys, that's all I have to say about Boyhood. Please go see this movie. Make a point to go see this movie. If you haven't seen it already, I highly recommend it. If it comes to a theater near you, please definitely check it out. If you haven't seen it, please let me know what you thought about it down below. It's simply one of the best of the year. And that's all I have to say about Boyhood, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. See you in the next video. Bye, guys.